guys, welcome to part 3. The first part was the mindset, right? Developing the mindset. The second part was the DNA, the ingredients you need by using your mindset to become that top salesperson and a master closer. Now, in order to reach the echelon or the echelon of being a top salesperson and master closer, you gotta know your profession, right? Like a doctor, right? You gotta know medicine. You have to stay up to date and current with modern medicine, right? I consider myself a doctor in that way, right? So how do you do that? What I've learned is this: the reason why people fail in any industry like real estate or as salespeople is because they have the wrong understanding, the wrong premise, which means they have the wrong knowledge, which means they're going to take the wrong action, which means they're going to produce the wrong results. That's just normal, right? Simple, right? It's not complicated. But if you're armed with the right understanding, with the right premise, right? With the right training, the right preparation, you take the right action, you're going to produce the right result, you're going to increase your value, right? You're going to grow your sales, you're going to put more money in your pocket, right? Simple, right? I like simplicity, it's better. Now, I call part number 3 the right knowledge. I'm going to share with you the basic fundamental, which should come automatic, but unfortunately it doesn't. So I like to always go back to basics. Let me share an analogy with you. Any athlete, whether they're basketball, football players, hockey players, soccer players, entertainers, musicians, fighters, don't they warm up and practice before the event? Right? Does that make sense? Don't they train before the event? Shouldn't they have the right knowledge about their profession so they could train the right way and be the top of their profession? What do they always do? They go back to the basics. The right jab, right? Throwing the right way, shooting the right way, fighting the right way, right? Selling and being a salesperson is no different. Not for me. So you gotta have the right knowledge. So let's get back to basics, okay? Maybe boring, but don't take it that way. Take it with excitement, enthusiasm, energy, like you've never seen it before, okay? Number 1 is I have a thing called the straight line method. I won't go into all the details, but it's a method that I've been using for over 30 years that keeps the prospect and me on the same page to get to the destination, which is the sale and the relationship, right? But it has to start somewhere, right? That somewhere is the vehicle. What's the vehicle? The selling. So I have a method that I use that keeps the prospect in line with what I'm trying to accomplish for them, to benefit them, right? To help them. That it's about them. It's what's in it for them, not what's in it for me. For me, the exit strategy is always a new relationship. Not how much money I make or don't make. Not how much commission I get paid or not paid. If I do my job right, I'm going to get paid. Why? Because my value determines my pay. Right? So I have a straight line method. You must know how to use that. You got to know how to use that method. The second thing is I have what they call a tripod close. I'll share what it means. Over here, that's a triangle. Over here is the sale. Over here is the prospect. Over here is the salesperson. The prospect and the salesperson has to agree that they want this relationship. How? The prospect has to see that you're valuable to them and that you can help them grow their business and solve their problem. When people ask me, what do? I say it in 5 words or less. Now, my title is what I do. I solve sales problems, period. End the story, end the conversation, right? So I have to get through this tripod close, get the prospect to see my value, that I can be beneficial to them, that I can help their business, that I can solve their sales problem. And then how am I going to do that? by helping them get customer to buy from them, right? So this is the prospect, this is me, the salesperson, and then this is the sale or the R for the relationship. You want to know more about how I use the tripod close? Do me a favor, hit the subscription button below, direct message me, and I'll share one-on-one time with you to share with you how I use the tripod close. Okay? So again, the tripod is the prospect, the salesperson, the result is the sale and the relationship. Does that make sense? Okay, number 3, you have to understand what a box close is. I'm gonna keep it simple. Every time you ask a prospect a question, you need the right answer to move forward. And every time you ask a tie-down question and they give you the answer to that tie-down question, you just close. That hole is closed. It's no longer an issue. So throughout the whole selling process is that you ask a question, they answer it. They give you an objection, you diffuse it with a rebuttal, boom. Question, answer, boom. Objection, rebuttal, boom. Buying question, answer, boom. Continue all the way through. So you get to the end of the sales presentation or the straight line method, you're boxing them in. Well, now they're gonna have to make a decision whether they want to go with you or not. And if they get that far, chances are you have a high percent of converting that prospect into a customer. And hopefully that customer into a client. There's a big difference. Customer is one time, a client is a relationship. If you never thought about it, that's what it is. Okay? Now, you have to understand and how to use tie-down questions. Because tie-down questions leads to the box close. See, people miss these simple fundamentals. What's a tie-down question? Does that make sense? Are you with me? Fair enough. Do you like the idea? Does the idea make sense? Do you see the value? How much are you looking to make? Every question you ask, no matter how simple it is a tie-down question. You gotta master that. You can't get to the box close unless you know how to use tie-down questions, right? Simple, boring to most people, but I love basics. Because basics never get old, not for me, right? Okay, number 5, path of least resistance question. It's a very powerful technique. It's part of your knowledge. You have to know when to use a path of least resistance question. I'll give you an example, an analogy. Let's say I need to qualify an investor for an investment, right? And I need this answer in order for me to move forward. I can't move forward unless I get this answer. Now, whether they lied to me or not, that's on them, but I will eventually find out. But I need the answer to this question. So let's say I need an investor to have a minimum of $1 million in high-risk investment. It's called speculation. And I need that answer for suitability purposes, to make sure I have the right investor. And I asked them, how much do you have in the stock market? How much do you have in risk investment? They say none of your business, or I'm not going to tell you. I have to still get that answer. So this is what I do with the path of least resistance. I'll say, is it $1 million, which is the minimum requirement? Is it 5 million, 10 million, 20 million? If they are a legitimate investor, and I say $1 million is an insult to them, because they might have 10 million. But they'll give me the answer that I need. They'll say, yeah, a lot more than that. Is it safe to say $1 million? Yes. People are always going to take the path of least resistance. Right? Let's do it the reverse. Let's say I say $1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 6 million, and the investor go, oh, not that much. Now I know they're genuine. That means they don't qualify, because even the minimum, the lowest, is way too much for them, which tells me they're not my type of investor, or they don't qualify, right? Because of the path of least resistance. That's it. Okay? Statement questions. For example, a statement question. When I'm cold calling somebody and I know they're busy and I hear their tonality, I could say, do you get a lot of these calls? That's a question. Or I can say, you get a lot of these calls, right? It's a statement question. I know you get these calls, so I'm going to bring it out anyway. You get a lot of these calls, right? Yes. Versus, do you get? One, you're asking, the other one, you're making a statement with the question mark at the end. That's important to know. When to use it, when to ask it, how to ask it. And guess what? All of these questions are part of storytelling. Okay? Now, number 7 is what I call the OBC. It's a process to storytelling with, number 1, the straight line method. All this interacts together. But I broke it down into components. So the OBC is the opening, the body, and the close of every sale or every cold call. When you prosper, anything you do, the movies do this. You have an opening of the movie, you have the trailer, you get all excited, they get you to the movie theater or they get you to watch Netflix, and then during the movie, you're disappointed because the story got boring all of a sudden. Why? Because your emotions are not fulfilled. So the opening, the body, and the close is a process to the storytelling, which leads to the close, which leads to the sale, which is the destination. This is the knowledge that the top salespeople master, that the master closers understand, and you don't even know they're doing it. They're that good. Does that make sense? So I'm going to give you a little bonus here. And a little advice at the same time. One thing that I teach my students and my salespeople, 2 things. Number 1, everything counts and everything matters what you do. Why? Because it's a reflection of who you are and what you do. And every phone call that you make, regardless, follow-up, initial, second call, whatever the case may be, it must have a purpose. There's a reason why you're making a phone call, not just to make phone calls. Every phone call I make has a purpose. It has an ending. It has a destination. There's something I have to accomplish within this phone call. And if you can learn that knowledge and learn that skill and build your mindset and develop your DNA, what makes you tick, and you can perfect your skill, your knowledge, the world is your stage. Your value increases exponentially. You're in demand. You write your own ticket. You determine how much you make or don't make every week. You determine your bank account. No one else does it. Does that make sense? Anyway, guys, I hope this was helpful. Thank you for sharing your time, your energy, your excitement, your enthusiasm. Again, smash that like button. Share your comments, whether you agree, disagree. Just give me your thoughts. Subscribe, and also watch this to the end. Obviously, if you're watching it now, I appreciate that because it helps the algorithm to push this video out to other salespeople, entrepreneurs, small business owners, real estate agents that might need to see this video that can help. Till we speak again, I say goodbye. This is Paul Cruz with Paul Cruz Sales Agency, where sales